Episode 14. Happy Friday. We made it to the end of week 3. I'm very excited. Also, news. Somebody is coming out of retirement and stepping back onto the gym floor for the next 6 months while we're still in Hong Kong. I'm actually quite excited. So one of my friends, DJ friend of mine, became a general manager of one of the gyms out here in Hong Kong, and they've been looking for female trainers. And because of the work that I currently do online with my clients and the agency, I can't do full time, but looks like we've managed to wangle some sort of part-time deal for just the interim. And actually, I'm really excited. I feel like, again, I love the online stuff. I will always be building online. I like the autonomy, the freedom to move, but I do like having people on the ground where I am. I've got my close friends here, and that's great, but I just haven't been recently interacting in person with new people because I haven't wanted to go out to any networking events or anything like that. And so at least in the gym environment, it's nice. They're there, I'm coaching, they're coming for a transformation, they're coming to do something about their lives. I think that was something I've realized recently that I've been getting very frustrated about in terms of meeting people or trying to connect with people within this city. And again, I've been saying it for the last few months now. We're not using this city how it's supposed to be used. Hong Kong is an incredible city. It's home. I was born and raised here. I mean, the ludicrousness that went on, even just the ability to be able to do what I did as a freelancer in this city, and the events I ended up at, the situations I was in, the people I met, the things I did, like, it still blows my mind. I mean, I spent many a New Year's Eve at the top of the Ritz-Carlton on the 118th floor dressed up as Marilyn Monroe with like DJs like Paul Van Dyke, you know, standing in the lift. Just, it's amazing. It's a very, very odd, very electric, very interesting city, but it's definitely for a particular kind of lifestyle. And me and my husband have just realized that we're not enjoying this lifestyle anymore. We want outdoor space. We want to be closer to family. With everything that happened with my dad over the like 2 years ago. Tomorrow is the anniversary of his passing. We'll get into that just now. I have a few things to say about that, but all good. Yeah, we're ready to be closer to family. We're ready for new games. We're ready for new challenges. We're ready for some fresh air. We're ready for just a different pace of life. And so it's just funny that this opportunity's come up as well, because it's also a nice little kick in the butt for me to realize it's like, while I'm in this city, make the most of it, because I have no doubt it's going to be easy to feel like I miss it at some point. I see it with my sisters sometimes. It's very easy to get that FOMO fear. I don't know. I say that. I feel like I'm so over the FOMO here. Like, I'm just so done. I'm so in a different place in my life and position in terms of knowing what I want and knowing what I don't want. And the electricity of a city is just not something I want. Happy to be able to come through and pass through. I'm very grateful that I was raised here, and I'm very grateful to be able to call this city home. And that was also a nice thing about seeing my sisters come back after so long. I mean, Sam hadn't been back in 10 years. And even when we went to the Happy Valley races, which happens in the middle of the city, the racing track is around a club that's in the middle of an area called Happy Valley. But in the middle of the track, there's, when you zoom out on the maps and stuff, it's pretty impressive. There's hockey pitches, football courts, rugby pitches, all the other activities and sports, and the football club sits right in between that, which is a membership club that has pools and this and that, because we don't have many outdoor areas, so we've got to put them in buildings that people have to become members of. But yeah, again, we walk through, and I remember walking through when we used to be in the middle of the biz and in and amongst all the things. And Sam had said, yeah, everybody used to be here on a Wednesday night. It used to take us at least half an hour to walk into the main area because we'd just bump into everybody we knew. And I realize I feel that when I go into the city now again. It's like I'm looking around, I don't recognize the faces. I would usually bump into people I know in town often. Anytime I'd go into town. And it was something Mum said again during the visit. It's like, it's not the place, it's the people. And I think when you're not enjoying the place and you don't have people connecting you there, I mean, look, I have very close people connecting me here, but it's not enough to move my entire life into some form of life that I don't enjoy to stay. And I think the hardest part about moving or relocating or taking on another chapter is the what ifs, the unknowns. But I don't know, I've done it so many times in my life. And it just, when you trust that and when you move into something different towards something that you know is closer to what you want, I genuinely believe that, especially when we're at these pivot points, when we're not sure what we're searching for, we don't know how good it can get, but we have to get ourselves away from where it is now, and we have to stir up the pot in order to make tracks and move into a new direction. Yeah, I don't know fully where I was going with that one, but plot twists, changes, stepping back on the gym floor. I haven't been a personal trainer on the gym floor for a while now. I'm actually very excited to see how I handle the situation and people and just everything in general now from where I've come through. And obviously, having had my spine surgery, being able to stand up, being able to project my voice, have more of an opinion. I used to do group classes at F45s, and then I was a Wing Chun martial arts kids instructor. So slightly different. The one-on-one PTs I've done before, but I've never done it consistently. But it's going to be really cool to dig my feet into that and have something else to place as an anchor. I realized I've had to I felt like I've had to hide for so long to kind of heal my wounds from what happened with running the agency and the mess I allowed myself to get into, and the boundaries I allowed to fall away, and the mindset that I was in, that I didn't look at the problem head on until I was suffering so hard that, again, it makes those moments harder to get out of when you can spot them, you know? So again, lessons to learn. Everybody's got things to go through, but it's been coming up again, and it's only been, it it started in September. I felt it just before we went to the mountains. Something locked in, my internal calm. Like, it was there and it was not gone. And it has taken me the last 4 years to find enough space to connect with that, to find that river that you can feel within, that you are able to connect to, that's yours. That when you connect with that in situation, that's your intuition that can tell you whether it's a bloop or a bloop. But you get to feel calm. The first time I ever felt it was after I did a Vipassana, because that is almost like 10 days of a mental boot camp. And I felt myself create finally that layer of space between me and what was incoming, to give myself enough of a time to say, does this serve me or not? Yes, no. Instead of allow just reactive, automatic responses that then start to get you into trouble over time if you leave too many of them unchecked. And then you wonder why people are doing people things, but you've allowed them to just walk all over you and not really have an opinion and not really step, and then they don't even really pay attention to what's happening, and it just happens. But it takes two to tango. I think it's very easy to sit in victim mindset sometimes on the other side and go, oh, but they're mean to me, and oh, but this, like, why have you allowed them to be mean to you? Change the situation, remove yourself from the situation, say something, pull them up on it. Like, yeah, it's amazing. It really is. I think I've definitely had a very interesting growing a spine journey, metaphorically and physically, over my life. And to see who I've become now and the confidence that I feel like I can stand on, it takes time. It takes the reps, and I've had to do them quietly in the back myself. And I think sometimes that's where I can feel a little bit of frustration, where if things haven't rendered fully in the front, I've been doing this for so long. But at the same time, I've been still hiding, you know, and when you're building online or when you're trying to build a business, you can't hide anymore. It's not that people need to know where you are. They need to know your services. You need to interact with people. You need to provide services with people. You're not hiding anymore, you know, or at least, again, it's weird nuance. My brain just has to go, but But it's like if you're an artist and you're a solo creator and you want to just have that visual outside and in a one-way traffic of people coming into you, but you're still not hiding. Like you still have to. Anyway, I can get into semantics later. But it just reminds me of how crazy this life is, and that question as well that I keep coming back to, where it's like, well, what are you going to do? Quit? Because that's not an option. I've been reading a few times on a couple of these episodes, the tarot cards, the Usher cards. So this is my pack. We were raised with these. Mum taught us how to play with these cards when we were kids. I call them stupid cards because they are always spot on. Um, but again, like with anything with the universe, the tarots, the lessons, they all come to you at the right time. But it's whatever your version of that lesson is very uniquely yours, and it's yours to understand. But this card has been playing on my mind. I've pulled it a few times over my life, and it's a meaning. It's something that I've always felt I've embodied to my core, and I realize I learned that a lot from Dad. And I think people tended to call it naivety. But I definitely realized at a certain point, it wasn't naivety, it was my choice to trust. It was my choice to assume the best in people. It was my choice to decide innocent until proven guilty. The only problem with that is I was very good at negotiating with myself on other people's bad behaviors. And I was very good at putting myself in other people's shoes and understanding why they were behaving in the way that they were behaving, even if it was detrimental on myself. And so again, learning to deal with that as well as somebody that can hold a lot of capacity for empathy and point of views and perspectives. If this is you, this is not normal, apparently. People don't normally think like this, but there are more kind-hearted people than you think out there. It's just that similar analogy like we have with the news, that, we just hear so much more of the shit. Doesn't mean that good things aren't happening every day, that people aren't unlocking new skills, that people aren't doing incredible things for the world, the environment, their families, their loved ones, whatever it is, creativity, anything. It's not as praised. And I think this is where we as a society and we as a collective are now able to be the ones who determine what comes on our screen. And it's our choice to see the sadness or to see the this and to choose not to live from that. Because I choose every day to see the joy, to see the light, to see the beauty, to see and I'm realizing I choose that. Even in the shittiest of situations, even with Dad passing, it just, the whole thing, luckily, I've put myself in this position. I've gotten out of the 9 to 5 trap. I sit here going, oh, lucky and oh, good. No, I chose to see this path. I chose to then decide to take the reps, to train myself, to calm my nervous system, to ask the question. Anybody can choose to decide to see something different and make an action towards it. So I'm also getting a little shorter tempered with not shorter tempered, but I'm a lot quicker to pick up on the action pattern now than just the verbal pattern. And this was, I feel, one of the last lessons that I had to learn for myself. It was one of the first lessons I learned after when I was 25, when my spine thing hit, and I read that healing developmental trauma, childhood trauma or whatever, through the stages. And it was that concept of the fact that, what got you here won't get you there. The things that your body and your nervous system has designed to protect you for throughout childhood do not stand through the test of time as adulthood. It's not the same thing. We don't need those same crazy reactions. It's not the same life or death situations, but our bodies are tuned to make us live that way. And because we are not taught how to cut off that system or interject into that system and kind of nudge it in a better direction, so that on a day-to-day basis you're not pulling from fear and panic and shit and crap. And it just reminded me, I think, when I was doing some of the Joe Dispenza's stuff, and I was reading his, Becoming Supernatural, and doing a lot of the pineal gland meditations, and just reminding myself again about even what Tony Robbins speaks about, where your attention goes, your energy flows. Like, it really is on us every single day to choose to wake up and carry the shit that we've been dealing with and pick it up and bring it up the hill with us, or put it down. So there are certain things that, you want to bring with you, and there are certain things that you want to let go of. But it's on you to see what it is you're carrying and get on with it. What was that? Was that Jordan Peterson? Pick up your goddamn misery and walk up that hill. Like, even he was talking as a clinical psychologist, like sometimes with his patients, they'd have to get things down to the stupidest next step of getting them out of bed or out of a depressive state or out of these bubbles that we can put ourselves in again, and then lock ourselves in because our brains decide to think that that's safer because now it's been the norm for longer. Yet just on the other side of more hydration, a bit of sunlight, some exercise, and some feeding the body, like, we can become whole new people again. It still blows my mind, the bougainvillea that's on our roof. I have a post about it on Instagram if you want to go check that out. You can see it was like 10 plus years that thing's been on that pot, like looking dried out and shriveled and just sitting there like a tree, just hanging out. We changed the soil a couple months ago. And the whole thing, like, it genuinely blew my mind. And this is also where I'm realizing as a city kid how by default disconnected we are to nature. And why people say spend time in nature is because when you look around, you genuinely, like, your mind just turns into the fact that you're like, how? How is this possible? You see the fractals, you see the patterns, you see the colors. Like, I don't know if you've seen some of the vivid colors that are out in nature. Like, that blows my mind, some of those pigments of those birds, or the feathers, like, and the flowers that you can see, or even just the way that flowers are shaped. Like, the beauty of it, even in a crooked leaf or this. And I think that's what we've been disconnected from over time, with the glossy magazines, with the makeup, with the masks, with the this, with the perfect, with the hide it all, with the don't show anything, don't tell anybody anything's wrong. Humans are meant to look beautiful and put together and all composed all of the time. And it's like, can we just rub some dirt in it? Like, can we just not for a minute? Because some of the most beautiful people I see are the ones that have lived out in nature, that have had fresh air, that have just had clean stuff. Their skin is glowing, their eyes are white, they sparkle. Like, I don't know, when we saw kids in the mountain that grew up in some of those hut environments, oh my God, they are calm, they are creative, they are intuitive, they are learning skills that they don't even realize are going to be second nature to them, that they don't realize how useful they are. Watching that plant sprout a new damn arm from a old dead one. A green one came out. It has new flowers, everything. I mean, my man's been teaching me all this stuff. He knows. He's from South Africa. He's more of the land than I am or have ever been. He's a fisherman. He's an outdoorsman. He's a sportsman. He is one with nature. I have never met somebody so in tune with animals. Blew my mind that year that we were traveling in 2022 when COVID shut down. The gyms were shut. I had my surgery, so I'd left the agency. I was online. His clients all suddenly went online because nobody could work, and we left. We left Hong Kong for a year. We did 6 months in Europe and the UK with my family, 6 months in South Africa with his family, and holy shit. That blew my mind wide open about the life that I want to live and the adventures that I want to have and the way that I choose to move throughout this world. This rigid structure of these cages, of these blocks, of these months, of these days, of these years. It is so, it's such bullshit. But you don't get far enough away from it to realize how much of the bullshit it is, to then actually see that so many people on this planet operate on their own rhythms. Because with everything that comes together, every piece has its own place, and every piece can fit together if you create your own bubble and make it work. That's that whole abundance model of we get to be what we want to be because not everybody wants to be the same thing. I think even Jordan Peterson talked about that thing that they ran in Sweden, right? Where instead of forcing percentages of people into roles of jobs, I've not been drinking my tea. We're already hit 20 minutes. Sweden, they did that thing where they allowed people to take what they wanted or like have the jobs that they wanted, and naturally men gravitated towards this, and naturally women gravitated to more of the service and caregiver roles. Naturally. And everybody was happy, and they had time off, and they had more of a on-work, off-work balance life in terms of it being integrated for longevity, for sustainability. Like, I still don't understand where the powers that be decided to fuck us up so badly that, one, we treat ourselves, we condition ourselves to be okay and to function in such a horrific state. That already blows my mind. But two, we forget so quickly as kids how our bodies feel with no restrictions. You know, when you look at a child sit down in a squat or put its foot in its mouth, you're like, it can do that. Like, yeah, I don't know. This world is magical. It is so full of everything. And I think we get to, when they talk about gratitude, like, this is what it's pulling it back towards. This is what it's trying to shift your mindset, because the more that you bring that into your attention, the more that you see it, and the more that you make it a daily practice, the more that it becomes something that you're looking out for, because you're going to be asking yourself those questions. That's why they say gratitude journals. It's not do a gratitude journal to sit there and be in a shitty mood and go, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, okay, I'm grateful for things now. Is my life going to change? Can I manifest the shit that I want now? It's like, nope. Doesn't work like that either. If you're going to half-ass your efforts on manifestation, you're going to get half-ass results, sweetie. And we don't. And Sarah Snow posted about this as well. Because again, she blew my mind open after she came out doing her viral real boot camp thing, you know, because everyone on Instagram and social media were like, oh, you have to post every day. Oh, sometimes you have to post 7 times a day and 5 times on the weekend, and so many content. It's like, no, I also don't believe that. But then it used to be that it was quite standard that it was 3 times a week or like 5 times a week. And I was getting into the phase feeling like it had to be daily again as well, because otherwise you lose your thing. She came up to one video a week. One thoughtful, creative video a week. Her students are going viral on beautifully crafted stories that talk about their lives, that get them on camera in a creative way and get them out of their own thing. And it loops and all this stuff. And she put up a thing yesterday again, or the other day I saw it, and it was like, you know, sometimes we forget that it's not about getting others to like our stuff. It's reminding us that we've got to get us to like our stuff. We have to enjoy what we are creating. Doesn't fucking matter what anybody else is. And I think, again, with the greed and the disconnect from society, it's all been like, I will only make something if I'm going to make money out of it. And then that's the loop that we get stuck in when we're trying to create. And then it's like, oh, but what do you want me to create? And it's like you're almost trying to get these feelers out as a people pleaser, but also knowing that you've got your own taste and you've got your own viewpoints that you want to bring out. But you're like, oh, but nobody will like that. It's like, yeah, but you haven't even given yourself a chance to allow it to come out and get good enough for people to like. And that's the game. That's the thing. The stupid reps of like putting something together. It annoys me. Dad always used to have so many ideas of little shitty businesses and little funny t-shirt things and stuff. And I'm just realizing now how much, like, we lived in Asia. We went to Thailand all the time. We could have got those things printed. Hell, we had a family friend that runs the Name Card Man. He was the printer in the thing. Sam and me, when we were working with one of the photographers in our modeling phase, had hooked up. She was doing a My Camera, My Rules campaign, and we were helping her print, like, photographic tees. Definitely always been an entrepreneur. Definitely always would rather build projects and make some money doing that with cool people than just fucking, it's like being stuck in an office. Well, Friday, sign off, 5th of June. Tomorrow is the 6th of June. That's my dice here. 6624. Boop, doo doo doo. 6624. Those are the liar dice for Dad. 6624. So it would have been today, 2 years ago, that I got the phone call from Mum. Your father's not going to make it through the night. No expat kid ever wants to get that phone call. I'm going to have to do a post on it. I feel that might be a little cathartic for me anyway. Yeah, he didn't make it before I landed. That's why in September when we went and I had 6 weeks in the UK and Granddad passed then, Dad's dad, I was so glad I had that 10 days with him and I was able to spend it with them. And again, it makes me laugh. Why do we leave it till funerals? Weddings, babies, funerals. 3 touch points within our lives with our loved ones and our families. Why? Blows my mind. So glad I got to spend some time with him before he passed. Me and my man spent quite a lot of time with them. He got to know my husband. The second he passed Garth the barbecue tongs, I knew I had his approval. Yeah. And before I tear up and well up, which is okay too, because we are allowed to cry, and sometimes sad days are sad days. But yeah, again, Dad's note, it's still, I'm going to put it up, I'll find a photo of it, I'll put it in a post on YouTube, or come look at my Instagram or something, but his notebook, when I found that page, if you can see the funny side, there is almost nothing you can't get through. And that's it. Like, dark humor, shit's gonna be shit. That was my granddad's advice to my father at 16 when he left for the cadets at the Met Police. Son, from now on, you're in the shit. The only difference is the daily depth. I'll leave you with that one, but, well, actually, I'll leave you with this one, because this is the card that's been playing on my mind, and I think for anybody that might be feeling that they need to hear this, it might be useful today. So it's the Fool card. Ooh. Ooh. The Fool. You can see the dude is hanging off the mountain. 0 is the number. Comes into play in a minute. He's got some white flowers on him and a rainbow vest. But yeah, here. Moment to moment, and with every step, the Fool leaves the past behind. He carries nothing more than his purity, innocence, and trust, symbolized by the white rose in his hand. The pattern on his waistcoat contains the colors of all 4 elements of the tarot, indicating that he is in harmony with all that surrounds him. His intuition is functioning at its peak. At this moment, the Fool has the support of the universe to make this jump into the unknown. Adventures await him in the river of life. The card indicates that if you trust your intuition right now, your feeling of the rightness of things, you cannot go wrong. Your actions may appear foolish to others or even to yourself. And if you try to analyze them with the rational mind, your actions may appear foolish to others or even to yourself if you try to analyze them with the rational mind. But the 0 place occupied by the Fool is the numberless number, where trust and innocence are the guides, not skepticism and past experience. Who are you listening to? A fool is one who goes on trusting. A fool is one who goes on trusting against all his experience. You deceive him, and he trusts you. And you deceive him again, and he trusts you. And you deceive him again, and he trusts you. Then you will say that he is the fool, and he does not learn. His trust is tremendous. His trust is so pure that nobody can corrupt it. Be a fool in the Taoist sense, in the Zen sense. Don't try to create a wall of knowledge around you. Whatsoever experience comes to you, let it happen and then go on dropping it. Go on cleaning your mind continuously. Go on dying to the past so you remain in the present, here, now, as if just born, just a babe. In the beginning, it is going to be very difficult. The world will start taking advantage of you. Let them. They are poor fellows. Even if you are cheated and deceived and robbed, let it happen, because that which is really yours cannot be robbed from you. That which is really yours, nobody can steal from you. And each time you don't allow situations to corrupt you, that opportunity will become an integration inside, and your soul will become more crystallized. Dad was a man of morals and values. And considering the time that he joined the police force, he was one of the few non-corrupt police men in the business. It's about the footprints you leave, guys. It's about the ripple effect. I've realized, get out of your own selfish shit. These bodies aren't complicated. Feed yourself, give yourself some sunlight, get your exercise in, and then go do something that is useful and fun for you, your family, for your life, for your generation. Like, we have one life. Let's make it fun. And I think that wraps up episode 14, week 3, Tea with Maja. All right. Next week, she's on the gym floor. I'm still going to fit these in. It's going to happen. I'll see you next week.